as we have. But sponsors, your role is to walk with them. And your other role, sponsor, is you must never, ever let the candidate forget that you did this with them. Because the sacrament of confirmation is not the sacrament of exit. It's a sacrament of beginning. And they need that relationship and that place. And when you think about it, if you really are thinking about what am I or who am I becoming, who has God created me for? Now here's where Ignatius comes in, my Ignatian spirituality. Our God created us out of love for love. Because God's very nature is love. Our God is not a gotcha God, a vengeful God, a wrathful God. This is a God who can only love and continues to love. He loves us when we're thinking of sinning, when we're sinning, and when we're asking for forgiveness. And he said, I cannot stop. And whenever God looks at us, God says, I only see how I created you and what I created you for. And he's still creating in us because he's not done with us yet. Now, the reason I share that with you is how do we become aware and responsive to God's presence in our life? Because I venture to say, for most of us, when we get up in the morning and we go to the mirror in our bathrooms, what we see is the same old tired face. And we go another day and all the stuff that goes on. But just imagine what God sees when God looks in that mirror. God's madly in love with what God sees. And God says, hey, I'm going to use you today to show somebody who I am, how special you are, and how special they are. What would your day be like? I don't think it'd be the same old day. But see, that means we have to have that wonderful gift of awareness, of mindfulness. That the moment your feet hit the floor when you get up in the morning, it's all gift. We didn't earn it. We didn't deserve it. And God says, I'm going to use you today as part of that gift. And when we start to become aware of that, then we believe what it means to be holy. That's our call. Our baptism, the most profound moment of our entire formation. Well, most of us haven't got a clue because we were infants. But we were named, washed, anointed, and claimed for God. And God said, you will be priest, prophet, and king or queen. That's through the grace of God. And what holiness means is not just that thing set aside for saints or people who have those gold things around their head in the pictures we see. All holiness means is you do the next loving thing. And here's what, again, the great gift you sponsors bring. You know what that means. You've been doing it. And without thinking about it, you've been doing it. That's what holiness is. And every time we do that, we bring about this wonderful world order that Jesus talked about in the gospel message. The kingdom or the reign of God among God's people, where there is compassion, dignity, respect, care, and concern. If you're really called to be the person you want to become, I hope you also want to be happy. Because, see, happy is not just a giggle or a smile. It's an innate peace inside us because of the Holy Spirit that dwells within us and says, I am burning within you to let your goodness out. To know what that means. Because if you look again to the Master, if you look to Jesus, you don't see a man who's just getting through the day and living life. You see a man who is after abundant life, who lived it to the full. This rabbi was so different from all the rabbis of his time. Because people knew if you want to go talk to the rabbi, you go to the synagogue. With Jesus, his synagogue was the fish market, or the Sea of Galilee, or they went on a picnic and nobody brought any food and he fed everybody. Or he goes to a wine and a beautiful wedding and he didn't want to embarrass the bride and groom, so he brought up the best wine. Because he loved people. He knew his people. That's our call. Because we're called to live a life that is holy and healthy and happy. Now, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to share with you a little Ignatian form of prayer. We're going to do this twice, but this is the first time. One of the great gifts Ignatius teaches is the gift of praying with your imagination, especially the scriptures. So I'm going to ask you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. If you're not, you can just focus on the floor in front of you. I want you to imagine you are walking down a dusty road. It's a very hot and sunny day. And you're not alone. You're with this group of people who are walking with Jesus. It's his disciples. Where are you in the crowd? Jesus turns to you and the disciples, and he asks you, who do the crowds say that I am? You hear some of them saying John the Baptist. Some others are saying Elijah. Some others are saying you are one of the ancient prophets. And then he said to them and to you, but who do you say I am? Now I'd like you to open your eyes. And I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, first beginning with the sponsors. I'd like you to share your answer to that question to the candidate, and then the candidate share your answer to the sponsor. Who do you say Jesus is? And be as honest as you can, please. Do that now.